Welcome to Advanced Nurses. We connect with nurses who inspire other nurses by sharing their experiences. And so we're able to bring that information to you. Very clear about CJ has been very instrumental in kind of speaking up for male nurses, particularly Black male nurses, in a sense we're kind of representing. So that's one of the things that was kind of drew me to him. So if you don't mind, can you give me like some background on like your what led you into nursing and what you currently do?
Okay. Well, right now I am a licensed practical nurse. I primarily work in the long-term care setting. And what led me into nursing, honestly, I was a truck driver before becoming a nurse, and I hated being a truck driver. So I had been in the medical field or around the medical field my whole life. My dad is a biomed engineer, and he's also owned group homes for a while in the city of Detroit. So, being around that, I just kind of thought that, why don't I get nursing to try? So when I got done being a truck driver, I became a CNA, got my CNA license, and realized that I didn't want to be a CNA too much longer. So I decided to become a nurse. Um, I had ran over it in my mind and everything like that. And I'm like, all right, cool. This 1 year program. I had seen the Everest commercial on TV a bunch of times. Dude telling you to get up out your couch and you a loser. Go do something with your life. And I just thought that, you know what? Let me go get this a try. I went down, got the information, tried it, and now the rest is history.
All right, thank you. So now just share with us what made you kind of go into like the digital space, like having a platform as the high value nurse.
Uh, I have been trying to have a YouTube channel for a while, but I really wasn't getting no traction, contraction. I wasn't getting no traction, and I was just trying to figure out how I could get some traction. And I had saw a video by I believe Carly Ray, who's a nurse on YouTube, who used to be well, she used to be practicing. She doesn't practice no more, and she was talking about how she built her channel up. And then I had saw what she said. She said was you need to find a niche. I said okay, find a niche. Okay, so I'm like, well, what niche can I attain to, or what niche could I, kind of cater to? Because I was just making videos about whatever. I was just all over the place. And once I saw what she said, I said okay. And then I did one channel about being a nurse for 30 days. Like it was like my first 30 days as a nurse. And that got really good responses. And it was right at that time that nursing vlogs were really starting to blow up. It was kind of after it because I wasn't aware of it, but it was right at that time when they were like really starting to blow up. And I kind of caught the tail end. But I had did it one time and I'm like, oh, okay, this was cool. I got a lot of responses, but I continued to do other stuff. And somebody had just left a comment like, bro, you just need to make this a full fledged nursing channel. And I just started uploading a bunch of nursing content, and it's starting to do well so far. I actually had another channel before my old one, or for my current one, but it got deleted with some haters. I had like 1,000 or something subscribers. So, and now with this new channel, in less than a year, I have almost 3,000. Well, actually 3,100 something like that subscribers, and with no nonsense, no foolishness and I'm very grateful for that. So I just felt like we needed that representation. I seen only one black male nurse on YouTube, and I'm sure up there are others, but the one that actually really inspired me to take it to the next level was the urban nurse because the urban nurse had like 30,000 subs, but he doesn't post like that. So I just felt like it was an empty space, an empty void for male nurses, and I wanted to kind of take up that space.
Well, that's interesting. I definitely can relate to the urban nurse because I actually had established my channel since like I was undecided if I wanted to actually have a platform like YouTube because at the time I had a website where I was like posting content that I was developing and a book that I wrote, and I was kind of undecided about if I was going to actually do anything on YouTube. So for a very long time I actually had the YouTube channel and really wasn't doing anything on it. I had like a talk. I recorded myself talking about my book because my publisher and the legal team that she works with recommended that the authors did something like that, where you kind of watch yourself talk about your book. And
Right.
so I had kind of just put it out there, and I never really paid attention to my content until I decided that I wanted to start kind of finding out from other nurses, how are they, what their experience has been in nursing, particularly Black nurses, and also like how have they been looking at solutions in nursing. So the thing I like about your platform is that you have identified, a part of you identifying your niche is also identifying a problem that you wanted to solve, which is amplifying the voices of Black nurses, but even more specifically male nurses.
Mhm.
um so I think that that's a very unique niche area, because of the fact that we have, like you said, outside of the urban nurse, I'm trying to think if I've ever really heard or seen a nurse really going hard. And maybe the person could have had a platform or something like that, and they're a nurse, but they never mentioned that they're a nurse. You know what I mean? Like maybe
Right.
one video they say, "Oh yeah, I'm a nurse," and that's it. With you, it's high value nurse, and actually that's how I found your YouTube channel, because I was looking at Black nursing content and you came up.
Oh
So,
wow, cool.
yeah, so
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
yeah, that is pretty dope. So, so what are some skills do you feel that you developed as a nurse that you think that you have not only developed as a nurse, but you would also want to see other nurses developing, just to kind of overcome some of the common hurdles in nursing?
Well, I think a lot of the times we overlook the little things in nursing. A lot of nurses, as well, especially like in the space that I'm in, long-term care, a lot of the times nurses will get so comfortable in their field and feel like they know everything when you really don't know nothing. I'm not saying that you don't know nothing, but you just get too comfortable with the knowledge you already know. Like for example, it'll be medications to where there are diabetic medications and nurses won't take blood sugars. Simple stuff like that. Won't take blood sugars. And then you'll have medications that are for um, hypertension and hypotension, and they won't take a blood pressure. They'll just give the medication. And that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. That's how you kill people. And those are the things that people really need to start paying attention to, your assessment skills, the common sense skills, the most like the medication is more commonly used in like long-term care, whatever your field is or whatever your specialty is in nursing. Mine is obviously long-term care, so just figuring out those little things. And I would say another skill that's important is listening. Assessing obviously, but listening is really important as well. And when you're in long-term care too, you are always a supervisor, so you have to be empathetic towards other people's situations, but you also have to develop a backbone as well. I've seen a lot of scary people who don't like to send people home, or who don't like to tell people their assignments, and buddy buddy and all that kind of stuff. And I think those are very 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 important skills that you need within the field that I work in.
Okay, so what do you think the future, if you could say, like, you look into the future, what do you think the future of nursing is, or even specifically either nursing in long-term care or nursing, like maybe even in this digital space, or both? You can go any direction you want to go to.
I think nursing as a whole is in grave danger. I'm gonna be honest. I think people just don't care anymore, like really don't care, especially in long term care. People know it's easy to get a bag, but I always say you need some sort of empathy, and you have to like caring for people to do the job. And if it was only about money and money only, then you don't get paid enough. So you have to care about people, and you have to like caring about people in some form or fashion. And now it's a quick bag thing. It's a way to get a bag and everything like that. And you know, if I'm gonna be honest, I think nursing is in danger. Like I'm gonna keep it real. I think it's in really big trouble. A lot of the seasoned nurses are retiring, and then you had a lot of nurses that passed away in the pandemic. So a lot of these nurses aren't really getting trained like they're supposed to get trained. they're not really paying the instructors enough in these schools, which is why it's so difficult for a lot of people to get into the schools. At least in Michigan, that's the case. They're not really paying the instructors a lot, so they really have no incentive to bring their A game to the table. And to me, it's just not looking good. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong because I mean, I'm gonna get sick inevitably. Hopefully, I don't. But like, we get sick. People get sick, and I don't want somebody who doesn't care and who wasn't trained that well working on me. So it's getting, I don't know, like the nursing world really starting to turn into like like the entertainment world, if you ask me. I don't know.
I think a lot of it has to do with nursing. Nursing has to, I think, evolve with healthcare. And I
Hmm.
say that to say so that the nurses who no longer want to work at the bedside, they're not stuck there. They know what their options are. They can kind of rotate and move out into spaces that they want to work in. Because oftentimes I think what happens is if nurses don't know what their options are, they stay in places where they're not adding value.
Hmm.
Either they don't know how to add value, or because they don't know how to add value, they're just there and it's just a check for them. Whereas if maybe those options were made available to them, they could say, you know what, let me go ahead and slide to the left, leave this space open to some nurse who maybe is just coming out of nursing school. Maybe they're more passionate about the healthcare and wanted to change. Because come on, change healthcare and change people's lives. Because come on, when you came out of nursing school, wouldn't you say that that's probably the most passionate you were about nursing?
Yeah, I would say that. But see, my motivations are different. I
Mm-hmm.
can't really speak from the average nurse perspective because my motivations are totally different. And with my motivations being different, I'm really pushed to do a good job because of my motivations. And I'm still highly motivated now because now I do see the full range of potential with my license. I'm even more motivated to do a better job because I think a lot of people don't understand the power that they have within a nursing license. Like it's even with the LPN license, like the fact that, and I was just saying this the other day, the fact that I can go work literally anywhere in the country when I want to, how I want to, and everything, and make great money. How many fields and how many people can honestly say they can do that? So now I'm incentivized to do an even better job because I'm not trying to get nothing crazy put on my license or anything like that. So I would still say I'm passionate uh, about doing well, and I'm still passionate about nursing. But versus when I first got in, I might even say I'm more passionate now, honestly, now that I think about it, because I didn't know everything that I could do. But now I know, and I'm still finding out new things every day. So it's just, it's a little different for me. My motivation is a little different.
So what about nursing as far as the digital space? Like nurses kind of, because with the stories that have been coming out about nurses getting fired, and well, not just nurses, but we know that nurses have gotten fired for like having, you know, digital content or having, social media content that has been controversial and has gotten them
Mhm.
into some trouble. Like, so what's your opinion on that?
You have to be very careful what you say and what you do if you are still an employee. I'm very aware of what I talk about. I'm very aware of what I say. I know what I can say and I know what I can't say because I'm still playing the game. I get recognized all the time, like all the time, especially here in my circle, here in like my general area in Michigan. So people, they see me and they know who I am. And I'm sure that, people like managers and directors of nursing, they watch my channel. So I know what I can and I can't say. I have a pretty good grasp of that. I know what I can talk about and what I can't talk about on my channel. I don't put places on blast. I never tell where I'm at. I don't put patients on camera and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's kind of silly. Like when people do that, because at that point you're looking for attention. Like I don't put other people at work on my videos and all that kind of stuff. Like, no, I think that's crazy. But a lot of these nurses are looking for like attention, but in a bad way. So no,
Oh
I know
yeah.
I know what I need to say and what I shouldn't say.
Yeah, we definitely in a time where people are doing things for attention and not necessarily always taking into consideration what that, the consequences look like.
Hmm.
So I did have a bonus question I wanted to kind of throw out to you
Lay
because
it
you
on
did
me.
go over my other questions.
Lay it on me.
Like, what's your thoughts or ideas around like nurses being innovative? And this has been like an issue that I've been, or a topic that I really wanted to focus on, especially on my platform and in my interviews, because I think that nurse innovation often is always kind of associated with informatics, because it's this idea of nurses and technology and informatics, but innovation really is solving problems, right? It's about identifying problems, coming up with solutions, going through the process of, looking at a system and designing solutions, or looking at a problem and looking at every aspect of that problem and coming up with a way to solve that problem. So, what is your experience with innovation? Do you believe that nurses are given the opportunities to be innovative? Do you think that nursing curriculum promotes innovation in nursing?
Nursing curriculum, as far as when you're going to school, no, I don't
Yes.
think it does. I think they teach you the NCLEX. That's what all schools, at least from the last time I went to school, that's what they all say. We're teaching you how to pass this test. You learn everything else once you get out on the field. And I think that is very true. As far as nurses being innovative, I mean, we have to adapt. Nursing is changing every single day. The way we practice nursing is changing every day. Disease processes are changing every single day, whether it's like new ways to solve them or alternative medication methods. Or I just think nurses aren't, like, a lot of nurses aren't given the motivation to be innovative, especially what goes on all in the field, like especially at bedside. They're barely getting paid their worth, or at least they feel like that. It's a witch hunt for a lot of them. Every little thing they do, they have to be very careful. They're always on edge. They're paranoid about every little thing. So a lot of them are. So I don't think a lot of them have the actual opportunity to be innovative, to bring new innovative ideas, because one, a lot of them are stressed all the time. So why would they be innovative? A lot of them are just trying to get in and get out. Um, I think if nurses were more comfortable in a more comfortable environment, then their ideas could blossom and they could turn into something really, really good that could help a lot of people in a lot of good ways. So, I just think we should learn how to adapt as a people. I mean, you're going to have to eventually, but I don't know. As far as like nurses per se being innovative, I think a lot of them have the potential to be innovative, but they're just not motivated due to their working circumstances.
I would have to agree with you with that, because I do think that there is a part of the nursing curriculum that actually promotes nurses to kind of be very like robotic about what we do. Because
Yep.
of course we do something, we have responsibilities that are very serious in nature.
Hmm.
You're talking about healthcare. You don't really want people experimenting, but when you really think about giving some administered a medication and sitting back to wait to see somebody's response, or knowing when someone has had an adverse response, these are high level scientific approaches, right? When you think
Yep.
about the scientific method, you think about, the tools and supplies that you need, and testing things out and looking at responses and repeating an action over and over again to get a expected result, or making
Hmm.
tweaks if you need to. So oftentimes what I find is that in other industries, because you had mentioned your father being a biomedical engineer, you know,
Right.
um, in that industry, oftentimes they are, encouraged to think out of the box, because
Hmm.
their minds, especially as engineers, is focused on always improving something. And they're in the back of their minds, they always think that something can be improved a little bit better. Everything could work a little bit better if you tweak this or change this or rework this, it can be improved. So I think with nurses, we are well positioned to think about the healthcare system that way. But I do think that we need to take control over that, in a sense where we need to understand where we actually sit as far as the power. I think you had spoke to about that a little a while ago in your previous response to one of my questions, about kind of like recognizing, the power that you have, recognizing, the influence and impact you can have not only in your life, but the lives of individuals around you, the influence you can have on your community. So even if you want to look at it from a social standpoint, nurses really do have they're in a correct position, and they do actually possess the advantage, to a certain degree, if we only can tap into the skills, or tap into those opportunities when they present themselves. I think skill building, of course, upscaling is my thing. I'm always pushing nurses to upskill, because I know when a nurse upskills, it's almost like if I gave you information right now
Hmm.
that you felt to yourself, well, what could I do with this information? How could I apply it? You know? but people need information to actually apply. But I think before you can get that information, you have to have the desire. You have to know how it fits. So oftentimes in your healthcare systems, everybody else who isn't a nurse, you know, the people in administration, the people in the IT space, all the other players, they understand healthcare from a different perspective.
Yep.
And I want nurses, because we are the largest segment of healthcare professionals, to understand what all these other players do. Because then if you want to bounce and transition into a different area, you need to be able to know what you need to be able to understand what you do every single day, how that is impacting, let's say, the finance department, or how
Hmm.
that's impacting the IT people. If you
Yep.
understand that, then when it's time for you to say, you know what, I don't know, I think I'm tired of working on this unit, you know who to plug into, what department you need to start working a little bit closely with. Maybe it's the questions you need to start asking. Maybe somebody comes on the floor to fix something, you ask them, well, what are you fixing?
Want like your thoughts on this? Do you think, because from what I've seen, there's a lot of secret keeping in nursing, from one another to try to help somebody else
Mhm.
advance. I think a lot of nurses, and I don't know why. I think it's actually really silly because there's not even enough nurses to fill all positions. But from what I've seen, there's a lot of secret keeping. A lot of people don't like to give everyone else the game on how to try to upgrade and level themselves. Have you noticed that, or have you ever seen that?
Interestingly enough, this is my interview, but you're asking a great question.
Right, right,
um
right.
you you said, well, this is your wheelhouse, right?
Well, I just
um
want to know because I
no,
wanted
that's
to
a
add
great
on what you
question.
were saying.
No, it's a great question. I mean, honestly, what drove me to what I'm saying to you is gatekeeping. I have
Mhm.
worked with nurses who have come to me in tears, before I even started my service, come to me in tears saying, I wanted this department, this quality department, position. It was previously filled by a nurse and I thought I could get this position, and they just looked over me. Or, they hired somebody from outside and they should have hired somebody from within. And you just keep getting passed up for promotions. And oftentimes, even if, let's not even think about passing for promotions, sometimes even if it's a lateral move, right? It could just be a move where it's not a promotion, it's just a different opportunity and you did not even know about it.
Mhm.
Well, I like to think about it this way. A lot of those behaviors started when you were in nursing school. Think about when you were in nursing school and you heard an instructor in front of the classroom announce that there were nursing organizations that nurses should think about joining because it will help you, with networking and help you. So they bring it up, and maybe one or two groups of students actually go to a conference during that same time, during that time where you're in the program, the nursing program. They go to a conference and you think to yourself, is something wrong with me? Because I
Mhm.
don't know, did I overlook the invitation? Did I receive the invitation? Or
Mhm.
when they all decided to do this, did the instructors, did they circle back, did the professors circle back to find out why other people didn't sign up for it? And what you find out is, instructors are human beings, so they have favorites, and they're going to give preferential treatment to who they want to give preferential treatment to.
Mhm.
Research studies suggest and have supported this idea, that when it comes to Black nurses, sometimes there are issues around communication as far as but as far as Black students, right? So the Black students may not always feel that they are a part of the group. And so with that
Wow.
being said, they're just trying to get through nursing school. And
Wow.
with that being said, the ideas around any kind of socializing, joining organizations is kind of in the background because you have all these other things you have to deal with, whether it's your socioeconomic status, whether you're dealing with discrimination in your classroom and your learning experience. So, unfortunately, those ugly things in our history in this country plays a role in our learning experiences, even in adult learning. So
Mhm.
even as in nursing school, you have those kind of issues. So going into the profession, they those behaviors or those ideas, those bad players, they still kind of inject their negative ideas into the profession. So in the profession, oftentimes you'll hear people saying, someone just walked up to me and told me about the position, you know,
Mm.
or we were all out at dinner and the position came up in a conversation. Sometimes you'll notice that a position will be posted for a very short period of time because really they're just posting it because by law they have to post it, right? So
Yep.
most institutions have an obligation to post it, even if they have already kind of decided who they're moving on with. So they post it, and then you put your application in, and it didn't even take 24 hours before they came back and said, well, we reviewed your application, we went with someone else. Well, the truth is that they were going with somebody else anyway.
Mm.
You just happened to be applying, not knowing that they had moved on with someone else. So when you're talking about gatekeeping, we can't talk about gatekeeping without talking about nepotism, and it is hard when you're talking about being a Black nurse that you are often not in those circles. So discrimination sometimes seems to rear its ugly head without you being able to quite put your finger on it. This is not
Hmm.
always that obvious. But
Yep.
yes, gatekeeping definitely keeps Black nurses and BIPOC nurses in general from a lot of opportunities to advance in nursing. I think it overall has a negative impact on the profession of nurse. I know some nurses who have said to me, I don't want nursing anywhere on my resume. I'm trying to remove myself from nursing. In fact, I don't even apply to positions that have nurse written in the title because
Mm.
they have such a disdain for nursing because of the negative experiences they had within the profession. So nursing as a profession has to grow up, you know. And
I
I
agree.
always blame the overarching bodies, the ANA, the AA, the AACN, all of the biggies that oversee all the credentialing, all the education standards. I blame them because I believe, like the Congress, many of those people have spent too long in those positions. I don't know
Mm.
if you ever taken the opportunity to kind of look at these, Google pictures of these boards, and when you look at them, it kind of look like the Congress a little bit, except for its women. There's a
Yeah.
lack of diversity. So you kind of get the sense that there's an idea of, the good old boys or the good old girls club, and people is just like Golden Girls, and they don't want things to change.
I agree with you 100%. And I just think that I one thing my nursing instructor told me, she was just like, when you go in, know what you want. Uh, know that it's not always going to be easy to get. Stay focused and don't take anything personal unless somebody's trying to endanger your patient or anything like that. Don't take it personal. And I took those words to heart, and I try not to take anything. I really don't take anything personal unless you're really just trying to endanger my license or something like that. But other than that, I don't take anything personal. But again, that could be based on what my motivations are. So I don't know. I might be the wrong example, but I don't know.
I think you're a fine example, and I appreciate your time with me now, but I also appreciate your platform. I really truly appreciate the fact that you have a space for Black nurses to speak about things in, around, and outside of nursing.
Hmm.
It just says a lot. Like I said, I think nurses are perfectly positioned for that. And I do want to give you this last minute here to give me, you can take as much time as you want, but just give me some closing remarks, either whether it's words of encouragement for current nurses, whether they're Black male nurses or Black nurses or just nurses, new nurses, any words of advice for them.
Well, for my male nurses, especially my black male nurses, I need y'all when y'all are in these spaces with a lot of these young, attractive women to really keep it in your pants. That is so important because I have posted several examples of what happens when you mess with individuals at your job. And I have to say that because a lot of us dudes, we young, full of testosterone, and you around beautiful women all day. So you just have to really be disciplined. And I can't say that enough. You don't want HR knocking at your door. Nursing is very small. You don't want to develop a reputation and all that kind of stuff. I've seen it happen. And you don't want to do that. And you want to be focused. Get really good at your job and stack your bread. Um, Ladies, the same way. You just have to know what you get into. Don't let these dusties get you pregnant early and all that kind of stuff. And I say that because I'm really trying to talk to the younger people. Like some of these older people are done. It's over for them. I want to talk to y'all and give y'all a chance. And, hopefully y'all can get it. But just, learn the basics, get your assessments down packed, um, and just try to be good at your craft. So, and that's pretty much it.
want to hear from you. Schedule a free consultation or send us an email at advancednurses@acd4n.com or visit our websites www.advancednurses.info or www.acd4n.com.